And welcome back in, Wyoming Knuckleheads, to another episode of GoBeWYO. I'm your host, Aaron Gray. Zach's on the board. Carter's in here with the cameras, making us look good. And our guest today is Sheridan native, Wyoming native, golfer Kirby Coe-Kirkham from the University of Wyoming. Kirby, how are you, man?
Good. How are you doing, Aaron?
We're good. I was just talking to Zach. I was like, I don't think I've seen Kirby in like a long time. So you're going to make me feel old a little bit. But you're getting ready for the U.S. Amateur tournament, and you're in town. I saw you at the rodeo, and I was like, we have to get him if he's here. Kirby, a little bit about yourself. You're from here. Grew up here in Sheridan. And then just talk about growing up here in Sheridan. You're obviously a golfer, but talk about you played other sports too as well.
Yeah. So I was actually born in Joplin, Missouri, but I moved here when I was like 8. So I always say I'm from here. But really, I fell in love with golf. Actually, I fell in love, funny enough, with like gymnastics first. That was my big
interesting.
sport.
Okay.
Yeah. But came here, and obviously there's not a lot of gymnastics.
Yeah.
So fell in love with golf, and I knew that was going to be my sport growing up, like probably since I was 10. But I loved playing soccer, basketball, played football until like 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Played the other two all the way into the high school. Played baseball growing up. That definitely hurts the swing. So yeah, I was jumping around. I even dove in junior high.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, into a pool. So
Man, you did it all, man.
yeah, I was trying to branch out.
Yeah.
Just be athletic.
That's awesome. Well, I remember you were a pretty good basketball player. You had a pretty good basketball career here at high school, and then soccer as well. So, and football and golf here is tough because you got to pick one when you're in high school here in Wyoming.
Yeah.
You can't really do both. So, how'd you know right away that golf was your thing?
I don't know. It's like, it's hard to tell when you just like, I picked up the first club and just was smacking it on the range. I was just like, this is awesome.
I don't think a lot of people can say that.
No, no. Yeah, but then it was like, I think I really love just the like individual aspect of it too, because I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty selfish. So like,
In a good way.
yeah, and I'm
yeah.
tough on myself. I don't like, golf is just great because if I mess up, I can't put that on anyone else.
Right.
Versus if a soccer team loses, like, well, was it really your fault? Or like,
Mm-hmm.
there's 10 other guys more than that can potentially ruin a game. But I hit a bad shot, and like, there's no debate. Like, that one's on me.
I love that. The ownership there. Like,
Yeah.
that was me.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. No, that's cool. I'm just going back to that gymnastics thing. Like, you're a big gymnastics guy.
Yeah.
What was your gymnastics event?
No, so I was like trampoline, tumbling like on the springboard.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then a thing called double mini, which is like, it's like a little like slant trampoline that you take like 2 jumps on, do some tricks.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I did tricks and stuff. I wasn't the bars and the
Okay.
horse, and I don't know how people do that.
I'm just curious of which one he liked there, but talk a little bit about, or Zach, do you have a question? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, tell us a little bit about your high school career and
Yeah.
kind of playing golf here and what that was like.
It was good. I liked playing golf here. It's tough. It's tough on a national level because, the big D1 schools, Oklahoma States and the Stanfords they're probably already like, they've probably already signed kids for 3 years from now.
Sure.
So being from here, like, it's tough getting the national exposure
Mm-hmm.
that you can get to go somewhere really big, but it's good. I mean, there's a lot of good courses in the state. The Wyoming Junior Tour is really good, and the State Golf Association is really good, puts on some good tournaments. So it was good. I had to go down to Colorado quite a bit to play in some qualifiers and stuff like that, but yeah, it was a good experience.
Yeah, and talk about, I think Sheridan, we're blessed. We've got the Powderhorn here, and then Kendrick's a pretty good course. So, like you said, the tournaments a lot of times are kind of here at the Powderhorn. Usually, I should say, not all the time, but would you kind of agree with that? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the really good tournaments are hosted at the Powderhorn, which is always nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that course is amazing.
Awesome. How would you say, Wyoming golf in general has changed? Because it's been only a couple years, but I think it's starting to pick up a little bit here across the state. How have you seen it kind of change a little, from a state level to the national level?
Do you, like in high school
Yeah,
or college
or just in general. Yeah, in general.
I mean, I think as bad as COVID has been, it's definitely really helped the golf industry because there's only so much you can do. Like social distancing, golf's one of those sports. But
yeah, you're by yourself pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, I mean, if you love the outdoors, and I think people are starting to have more like appreciation for it, golf's just such a good sport because you can go out to the Powderhorn, and even if you like are not good at golf, I mean, the views out there are unreal.
Like me. I was going to say, he talked about picking up the club and swinging it. Like, that's not me. Freaking miss it. And like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah.
Let's, how was I think we kind of skimmed over this, your high school career. How did you end as a high school golfer?
It was kind of a bittersweet high school career for me because I won plenty of tournaments, and I'm not going to take away that success. I think I did pretty good, but freshman year I missed All-State by 1 stroke, and I maybe it's changed, but I don't think anyone's All-State at all 4 years, so that one hurt. And then took second place the next 3 years, which also kind of stings.
Yeah,
but I won plenty of times. Had some good summers, so
yeah,
overall pretty good.
Yeah. I think it's, again, there's that golf aspect of, you can probably look back at each year of like, that's where, 1-2 strokes there, 1-2 strokes there. Yeah. That's still pretty dang good, in any sport, being almost all state and then, being the top 2 every year. So that's pretty good. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. So your high school career's wrapping up. You talked about kind of D1 recruiting. What was that kind of process looking like for you there going into college?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I didn't really, I wasn't a crazy good junior AM player in respect to like everywhere else. I didn't qualify for any U.S. junior AMs or junior worlds or anything like that. So I didn't get recruited until late, but my first D1 offer was actually Northern Colorado, and the head coach there was actually the head coach at Wyoming previously.
Okay.
So he started recruiting me. They didn't have engineering at that school, so couldn't go there. But he influenced Coach Jensen to come kind of recruit me, and got that done that summer. And I took a couple months to kind of explore my options, see what else was on the table, and then finally took a visit to Wyoming, and I was set.
Yeah.
Kind of answered the question I was about to ask, like what you're studying. So obviously engineering, kind of hard to beat University of Wyoming's engineering school.
Yeah.
What were some other schools though? Were there some that were kind of close in that decision?
Yeah, there were some pretty close ones. I took quite a few visits to some D2 schools, but that was all before Wyoming offered me.
Gotcha.
So once that happened, I was like, okay, D2's kind of out the window because UW's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But then I was looking at Grand Canyon, Idaho.
All good schools.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think Houston Baptist.
Okay.
Like all smaller D1s, but pretty solid. They showed some interest, but weren't really as interested as Wyoming, and I wasn't going to get paid as much, so made the decision pretty easy.
And your state school, that's kind of hard to beat.
Yeah.
Give some advice to some young guys out there that, like you said, you were recruited late. That process sounds like it was kind of a long process. It took Wyoming a long time to, they almost kind of had to get nudged a little bit by another coach. What's your advice to some in any sport, really, that somebody wants to play in, about getting recruited and like trying to play at the next level?
I think the biggest thing really is you have to be very proactive, because I mean there's certain exceptions where if you're just killing it on a national scale, obviously coaches talk to you first. Like the Paxtons had that. I mean, when you're that good, people are interested early. But for the most part, if you really want to play, you got to send out a ton of emails. For golf, it's put swing videos. Get in some tournaments that have the national exposure like early. But yeah, really just biggest thing is to email a bunch of coaches. The
Yeah.
worst they can do is just ignore you.
Yep.
Like,
Right.
eventually someone's going to text back.
The law averages
Exactly.
statistics right there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
think
it's
that's good advice, though, just
Yeah.
being able to advocate for yourself
Yep.
and get out there. I think that's probably like the biggest lesson I learned in college is just how to advocate for yourself and kind of stand up and get yourself out there. So,
yeah, and that goes like Zach just said. That goes for anything. Like,
yeah.
you know, if you're not taking shots at whatever you want to do, like,
Yeah.
you're gonna be blamed. You know, the only person you can blame is yourself because it's like, hey, you got to get out there and advocate. So that's awesome. What you know, talk about. You've got 2 years left. What kind of engineering degree are you getting?
So I'm energy systems engineering
Okay.
right now. I was going to graduate in 4, but we got an extra year because of COVID. And now I'm just going to stretch it out to 5 and
Lighten
take
it up.
12
Yeah.
credits, you know, because it's tough with golf.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on the road so much. And I mean, engineering's obviously not a super easy degree. So stretching it out,
Yeah.
making me spend more time on golf.
Absolutely.
Pretty
Yeah.
happy with it.
Build those relationships too on your team, and then build the relationships in the school. You know, is valuable too. You know, don't need to rush it. And that degree, you're gonna be pretty fine finding a job placement, I would imagine.
Yeah.
One of the reasons, again, like we started out. So let's talk about kind of the most recent tournaments you've been in and how you've been doing, and then we'll talk about the amateur. Kind of walk us through. Actually, I don't know the schedule, so I asked you about the Mountain West, but so like, what's been the timeline here of kind of these most recent tournaments here, Kirby? I'm not a big like, I'll watch the pro stuff, but like all these amateurs and stuff, I have no idea like where these are at or when they happen. So walk us through that. Yeah.
So I'll start at Mountain West since that's the first one you brought up.
Okay.
That was, I think, early May.
Okay.
Really late April, early May. I played pretty good. Just couldn't buy a putt to save my life.
Okay.
But I think I took like 24th or something.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. I mean, there's 100 some in the conference, I think.
Top 25.
Yeah. So
where's that course played at?
That's in Tucson.
Okay.
Yeah, Tucson National. And we had another guy top 25, so pretty decent showing for the team too. Yep. But not nearly good enough for regionals. So
okay.
That's what we're going for this year. But then after that, I think a week or two after that, I had U.S. Open local qualifying in Westminster, and I actually won in a playoff to go to sectionals.
Awesome. Okay.
So I think June 6th or something.
Sure.
I went to Dallas for sectionals, and if I made top 10 in that one, I would have gone to the actual U.S. Open.
Okay.
So I missed it by I think 7-8 strokes.
Okay.
Over 36 holes, so not too bad. And then went to the state match play, got beat in I think it was the quarterfinals.
Okay.
So wasn't very happy there, but had a couple weeks off, and then went down to Laramie for a 3-week stretch of tournaments, basically.
Okay.
Started off with the state am, played really good there, won that, and then after that was the Laramie Open. I think I took 6th or 7th overall.
Okay.
This is pro tournament, so
yep.
I would have won a decent amount of money, but low am there. And then USAM qualifier, played pretty good, won that by 2.
Perfect.
And then had jumped over to Cheyenne.
Okay.
And played the Wyoming Open, and low am there, another top 10 overall.
Perfect.
So, yeah, it was a good stretch.
I can already tell right now, golf is a up and down. Like, you win one, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, out of the top 10. Tell us how it works on. So you told us, if you would have got top 10 in that one in Dallas, you would have gone to the Open. And then now you're in the amateur. Is it like a point system? Like, if you win enough, then you qualify, or how does that work? Or you got to win you got to be in those top 10 in those certain tournaments.
It's kind of both.
Okay.
I don't think there's necessarily a point system.
Okay.
But they have it's called World Amateur Golf Ranking.
Gotcha.
There's a bunch of ranking systems out. And I don't know the exact criteria, but I know if you're ranked high enough, you get exempt straight into sectionals, which would be Dallas or
gotcha.
I was supposed to play with Siwoo Kim in the Dallas qualifier, and he got exempted in the actual U.S. Open just based on he's like top 40 in the world or
Yeah.
something. But like the USAM, I don't know, maybe it was like top 100 in the WAGR get exempt straight into the actual tournament.
Okay.
So they don't have to qualify. So that's kind of a point system.
Gotcha.
I think it's based on like strength of field and scoring average
Sure.
and all that stuff.
A lot of different things, but
Yeah.
sounds like there's tiers too a little bit. Like if you're that top 50, like you're always in the pro stuff and then the next. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious because there's,
Yeah.
a lot of good ups there and then some downs, but I'm like, well, if you have enough ups, then at some point you're going to get in. So, which is the U.S. Amateur. So, cool. Okay. And see this, I just don't know a whole lot of golf. Not very good at it. So, Zach, did you have a question there too?
Yeah. Well, so my question, these are a lot of different places that you're playing and all over the place. So how do you kind of prepare each week? What does kind of practice look like getting ready for a specific
Great question.
course?
Yeah, that's a good question. Really, I don't try to prepare specifically for one tournament more than the other. I've been playing good this summer, but I take it kind of more as like an off season to me because I care about the college season more.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to play well there. So really this whole summer is just how do I elevate my game to finally, maybe get some wins this fall or at least be more consistently good. That's always what I try to be. So really it's just a bunch of, swing work. Sometimes it's technical. I'll put my camera behind me and work on different parts of the swing, try to make it look like how I want. And then sometimes it's just like, picking out targets hidden there, seeing how far I hit clubs. And then a lot of time on short game. I putt a lot.
Walk us through how's that changed. Do you send clips to your coach or is it more on you? Or is it kind of a mix? Like you guys go back and forth a little bit.
It's mostly on me.
Okay.
Coach is really good. He's like a mental coach.
Okay.
He is a teaching professional too, so he knows quite a bit about the golf swing, but I kind of know what works for me.
Right.
Where stuff needs to be so it doesn't go really bad. But yeah, so most of it's just looking at it myself.
Gotcha. Cool. I had a question from one of your questions, Zach, and I lost it.
Oh, okay. So the college season then, when does that typically start, and then what's the kind of length of the season there?
So it normally starts early September. I want to say even
Holy
like
crap.
the first week.
Okay.
And then I think normally our last tournament of the fall is like the first week in November.
Okay.
So, and then we have, like 3 months off. And then early February is when the spring starts. And it goes till really late / early May.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Golfing a lot.
I was just thinking because he said the Mountain West was May and he said September. I was like, holy crap! Like, I mean, obviously in Laramie you're gonna take the winter off, but I'm like, that's a lot of playing time. Competing, traveling and going to tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Holy cow!
It's like the only sport that I really know of that has like two kind of separate seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So we play in both the fall and spring, and I don't think a lot of other sports do that.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That was another question. So you're training. So do you guys, as a team at UW, do you guys have a strength and conditioning plan? And cool. How's that different from like when you were in high school? And then actually maybe how has that changed too? Because I know that in golf has changed, and I would say Tiger was probably the one that kind of started it in regards to like strength training and all that for golf and all that good stuff. So
yeah, it's a lot different than high school just because, in high school it was like a class period.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really sport specific. I could never get into the one with Mr. Elliott, the first period one. I had something that period every year, but
yeah.
So it was a good background for me. I went into college, decently strong comparatively to golfers.
Yeah.
I'm no Blaine, but
no shots, but just saying.
Yeah. So that was more general stuff, benching and squatting and all that stuff. But coming into college, then now we really work on like, okay, so we have the summer and the winter of no real important tournaments, like stuff that the the school pays for. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of strength, more general stuff in like
Yeah.
the winter and the summer. And then in season, you know, it's how do I move the best for this next like 3 months.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a lot of speed stuff, it's a lot of mobility. And I'd never done like mobility work in
Yep.
high school, so I'd say that's a lot different. But yeah, now you're seeing a bunch of golfers getting
Yep.
big into, I mean, Bryson, Tiger started it, but now you've got Brooks and DJ, and Bryson's really like kick starting it because
Yep.
now he's
Yeah, they're all getting jacked out
beefcake,
there. Yeah, they're just huge. Yeah. But you mentioned the most important thing is the mobility, right? And that's, you know, your coach is in season. That's the most important thing. So I was just curious because it's, you know, everyone's got their own different philosophy.
Right. Well, and golfing's just such an interesting movement too. Like being able to work on that mobility and trying to get everything coordinated is, it's gotta be.
When he was mentioning too, you know, the strategic part of it, like, you know, yeah, you want to hit the ball really far, but then sometimes there's points where it's you want to place it in a certain spot. So
right.
So anyways, but Kirby, we haven't asked this question. You know, we are GoBeWYO. You know, you're from here, went to school here, going to UW. You know, what do you think makes Wyoming unique? You know, when you guys travel to other places, and then when you come back for the summer and all that good stuff. You know, what makes you always come back home? You know, or do you call it home? You know, but yeah, I think you do. But
yeah. I call it home. I think honestly the biggest thing for me is just like the people. I mean, everyone from here I feel like is really like independent. Like, and it's also not crowded. You know, I'm used to playing. We'll go to Palm Springs and like Phoenix for the majority of the spring, just because that's the only place you can go that early. And I mean, those places are just so packed. You know, there's houses everywhere, and every golf course is lined with houses. And come back here, and the Powderhorn's like really packed for Wyoming, and it's still not like, I mean, it's nothing compared to like Cali. But yeah, just the people. I mean, everyone here is pretty independent. Like, don't tread on me. Just you know, let me do my thing.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, I mean, there's probably no comparison to the Powderhorn golf course. You know, I mean, just the mountains right there. Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Zach, did you have anything to add on that too?
Well, I guess just what are some of your favorite places then that you've played? Not just in Wyoming, but just kind of where are some places, and then maybe kind of like bucket list places that you haven't played yet.
Yeah. I mean, Wyoming, Powderhorn's definitely up there. I'm a little biased, but I think just overall, it's one of the best courses. We go to Hawaii, or at least I've been to Hawaii twice to play in a tournament, and I mean, it's Hawaii, so you got to put those on there.
Yeah. Well, and the view, I would imagine, is comparable to the Powderhorn. You know, no one else is going to have that kind of view. Right?
Exactly.
That's
like
awesome.
you're on the beach, which that's just really surreal to me because I'm used to playing in the mountains and stuff.
Yep.
Like, we play at the Air Force Academy in the fall, and I'm sure to some, like, you know, to someone in California or Arizona, that course is like unreal. But I'm just used to playing in the mountains, so like it's a really good course, but I'm just kind of used to it.
Yep.
We play a ton of nice courses. It's hard to really pick. Bucket list, Oakmont's on there, which is good. I'll get to check it off. But like Pebble Beach, Cypress Point, Marion, like a bunch of just, you know, the top of the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to ask this question, and this, you know, no offense to anybody here, but what are some of the worst courses you've ever been on?
That's a good one.
And maybe not necessarily the worst courses. Maybe think of your worst, like you just were having a bad day, and you're just like, I'm never gonna play here ever again.
That's what I forgot too. I played Riviera, and that's,
okay.
I mean, that's definitely
a
probably
good course.
One of,
Okay.
But that was one too where like you couldn't have made a course nice enough for me not to get pissed that day because I played so bad. But
love it. So one course gets on both lists there.
Yeah, it's the best and the worst at the same time. I mean, I've seen Kendrick in some really bad shapes, but right now it's really good. So,
Shout out
There's
to Ryan. Had him at the live stream, Blacktooth.
oh
Yep.
sweet.
Yep, had him on.
For the Masters.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, I think it was, I don't know, a few years ago where it was really bad, but now it's I mean, it's in really good shape.
got it
They've done
back.
a good job. I can't think of any really terrible.
Okay.
I don't like Green River and Evanston,
Okay.
but they're not necessarily bad courses. It's just I don't really like that part of the state.
Yeah. Again, no offense, but
Yeah, no, it's just
from us northeastern Wyomingites, we don't like that southeastern part of the state.
No, I like my
Or
mountains.
southwestern, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. No, that's the reaction. Like I wanted the Riviera one. Like it's a great course, but then at the same time had a bad experience. Well, Kirby, what are you? I kind of like that. Your summer is kind of the hey, this is my technical time. Just trying to figure things out. So I kind of like that where you're not putting stress on yourself and just, you're worried about your college career. What are you looking forward to the AM tournament? And that's August 10th?
I think it starts the 9th.
The 9th. Okay. August 9th. And where is that again?
It's in Pittsburgh,
Okay.
Pennsylvania, or like right outside of it.
Yeah.
but-
Okay. What are you kind of looking forward to that? And then, what's your kind of 3-4 year goal? You'll be done collegiately, then yeah, that's kind of the question there. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Rambling.
I'm just looking forward to the USAM just in general. I mean,
Mhm.
I've heard it's a crazy experience. It's ran by the USGA, so like I've heard it feels kind of like a US Open,
Okay.
but obviously I'm really excited to play that course. I've heard it's one of the toughest in America, so also just kind of excited to see what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's always good to get up against like the top dogs and see like,
Where you
okay,
land.
am I there? What do I need to work on? What's the difference? And the only way you can know that is really by going up against them. So I'm really excited there. It's also the first one, so
Cool.
it'll
Yeah.
be fun to have. I'm sure I'll be nervous as heck. But
Yeah.
I always love that.
Soak it in. Yeah. And I love that of you don't know if you're there unless you go up there and play against the best. So that's cool. And then what's your 3-4 year plan? I
Yeah.
know that's a little bit in the future, but you've got 2 years left, I think you said. 2 years left
2 years
eligibility.
left,
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you haven't even thought that far. I don't know, but what's kind of your 2-3 year plan there?
Yeah, so I wanna go pro. I'll start with that. I don't exactly know. The route I go kind of depends on how I play too.
Sure.
Now they've got the like PGA Tour University thing, which is big. Like depending on where you rank your last year, like you can have Korn Ferry status, which is basically like the G League,
Okay.
or like a tour lower than that. So hopefully I can get onto some tour where I can make progress and eventually make it on the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of depends on how I play. And
Sure.
So basically it's just try to play really good these next couple of years.
Yep.
Get a lot better. And I mean, if that doesn't work out, I'll try to make that work for a few years at least.
Mhm.
But if that doesn't work, then I'll probably get some sort of engineering job.
Yep. You'll get one. I know, with that kind of degree. Well, I just love that, it's being in the moment, not really thinking too far ahead, but having some goals for yourself. Zach, you have any?
No, I don't. I agree. I think that's awesome, and it's good to have goals and know how you need to reach them and try and get there. Being realistic in your goals and knowing what the process is to get there. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I think just to end out, because I think especially people here in Sheridan, especially the golf community, they want to follow you on the AM. Where can they follow you, or do you know if anyone that's going to be kind of updating? Will the UW golf team? They probably will be updating kind of how you're doing, I would imagine. So how can people follow you? Reach out to you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I should probably do a little better job of like.
It's okay. Don't do it.
People.
Yeah.
But really, basically every tournament we play in has live scoring.
Okay.
Some capability through different programs. Like in college, it's through like Golf Stat is the name of it, but This summer tournaments are mostly like Golf Genius, which is another app, but basically, you can follow along with every tournament I play for the most part,
Okay.
especially in college. I mean, the UW Golf obviously follows a little more
Yep.
for in season, but I'm sure they'll provide some updates at the AM. And hopefully, I mean, my goal is to make it to win the thing, obviously.
absolutely.
But they start televising match play. So if I make top 64 after the first 2 days, then I'll get at least some TV time,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, there we go. Wonderful. Well, cool. Okay, so there's a Golf Genius, Golf Stat, I think
Yeah.
you said. So those are apps.
Yeah.
And then you could follow there, and then just go to the UW Golf stuff, and they'll be sharing your stuff anyway. So I'm trying to think of anything else, Zach. I think that's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
normally UW either like posts a link to where you can follow it,
Okay.
especially in season. But
Since it changes a lot too,
Yeah.
it sounds like. So
yeah, but
Cool.
if you can't find it, you can honestly just Google the name of the tournament I'm playing in. USAM will be pretty easy to find,
Yeah.
I imagine, and you just Google it and find some live scoring or
cool.
the results or something like that.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited. I'm glad you were able to come in since you were here. Try and catch you on your break. But good luck. We're excited. Get some TV time. That'll be cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I hope so.
But Zach, anything else there to end out?
I don't think so. Thanks for
Okay.
coming on. It's good to see
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
thanks for having me.
And that's
guys.
been a few years. Kirby graduated the year below me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we played in the orchestra together. And
Yeah.
so it was,
That's freaking awesome.
yeah, it's fun. So it's
Yeah.
good to see you, Kirby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to see you guys too. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
Well, thanks for listening with us, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.